morning. Happy Thursday. This week is just going right on by. Just right on by. It'll soon be June. So today it is May 30th. And it is 57 degrees. And I think tomorrow is supposed to be like 40 something in the mornings here. Love it. Love, love, love it. Now these are the temps I could get used to. Yesterday the humidity was only 37%. And the dew point was about the same. Now I know that's not good in the long run because it makes us susceptible to fires. Because the wind was blowing yesterday. So I know it's not good for it to be that long, to stay that way long, but it's nice for a few days. I'll put it that way. So today we're going to talk about our friend. Well, he's not really my friend. I don't know that he's your friend either. But we're going to talk about Sarasota Tim, and we're going to talk about Tammy. And I know he has not mentioned her name, but he might as well go ahead and say it because it wouldn't take a rocket scientist to figure out who he's talking about. Now, for those of you that don't know who Tammy is, or you know who she is, but you weren't watching when she was on, Tammy was his, I think he called her partner. He called her partner times, he called her wife times, he called her girlfriend times. He might have said fiance one time, I don't know. But I know he said wife several times. And the reason I bring that up is we learned when, at the beginning of the year or somewhere along those lines, that Tammy was not divorced. And, that's none of my business how they choose to live their life. But when you put yourself on YouTube and you start preaching the gospel, then you need to be kind of living along those lines. And I know he didn't really start preaching the gospel, but he was telling people what to do and to be a nice person and all that. And I'm not saying that doesn't make her a nice person. But when you live with someone and you're still married to someone, you have to ask yourself, why were they not divorced? Because evidently they had been separated for years. Because we know Tim and Tammy lived together. Well, maybe she told him they were just roommates. I don't know. But, he made it clear they were more than roommates. And I guess more power to them. As I said before, I don't have a perfect past. But, you just don't tell people how to live if you're not walking the line, the way I look at it. But whatever. Anyway, I'm going to talk about why they should not get back together, why Tammy should not even entertain the idea of getting back together, even as friends. Because we know that Tim is going to try to make it more than friendship. Because that's just the way Tim is. Now, what we learned, and it's common knowledge, that he had a will and he left everything to Tammy. Now, from what I understand, and I don't know how, like I say, somebody just told me this, was that he had taken her name off the deed, but evidently he didn't change his will. I don't know. I just don't know. That just doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to the water place, in case y'all care. water bill. So she has inherited this estate, if that's what, I guess that's what you call it. And I don't know if there was any life insurance or anything like that. I don't know if he had any assets in the bank. I don't know all that. I read in a comment that it was worth $2 million, but now that's what I say. I don't know that that's true. We can find out what the house sold for. And I don't know exactly. I know it was in the $400,000 range, but I don't know exactly. All right, I'll be back. So we know it was in the $400,000 range, or, a little slightly more than that. I don't know. All right, this air is going to turn down. So, okay, let's just do an example here. And like I said, I'm not going to take any kind of money that he might have had in the bank or anything like that. Now, if she decides to divide it between her and the children, and it's only $400,000, that's not going to be much money. If she's going to buy a condo or house or whatever in Florida, that's not much money if she divides it. Okay, let's say the kids say, well, I don't want it. You can have it, Mom. Whatever. I don't know if he had any brothers and sisters, because they could potentially take her to court. I don't know. I've seen families do it all the time, especially if they're estranged. So, is she going to, immediately turn it back into real estate, and then worry about a lawsuit later, or what? I don't know. Okay, let's just say, for instance, that she tells Tim, I'm not moving anywhere else, and I think she's already made that clear, and she wants to go back to Sarasota, or that area of Florida, the West Coast, because that's where she loves. And she's still within 2 to 3 hours of her grandchildren. So she finds a little house that's affordable for her, and she tells him, well, you can move in with me, but you're going to pay rent. Now let's just say she charges him $1,000 a month rent. She tells him that, you're going to pay half the electricity, half all the utilities, everything. And, if they're actually a couple, she may say, well, you're going to pay half the insurance and, half the taxes. And, maybe after a few years, I'll put your name on the deed, or if they get married, whatever. But, and let's just say, for instance, this house has some land. It has a yard. Who's going to mow the grass? What if it don't have an HOA, I guess is what I should say. You're going to have to buy a lawnmower, Tim? You're going to have to buy a lawnmower? Go in debt for a lawnmower? Oh, Lord. That'd just be devastating. But, it gives Tim a house. A house to live in where you don't have to live in the camper. Or are you going to buy yourself a goat, Tim? You buy yourself a goat so you don't have to buy a lawnmower. Then you're going to have to feed the goat. It can't live on grass alone, I don't guess. I don't know. I only had a goat for a couple of days, and then my grandma made me get rid of it. But anyway, because it was eating her plants. So, then she says she don't like YouTube. She don't want to be on camera. Well, I just find that hard to believe that she would even entertain the thought of them getting back together and her knowing he's going to film. And he's going to do everything he can to get her on there because he does believe she brings views, and she does. Now, I don't know that she is going to bring in as much this time because people's going to be kind of over this, because it's obvious. The reason he's not said her name is he wants people to keep coming back. I mean, I said, in my other videos a few weeks ago, we needed some drama. So is this the drama he's trying to bring? And I mean, let's just say, for example, he hadn't even talked to her. He's just using this storyline for views. I mean, that would not surprise me at all with him. Not surprise me at all. Because in his saying, I don't believe one word he says. Tammy supposedly commented on one of Darling's videos, I think, and she said at that time that she was out, meaning that she was over Tim. And it looks like I'm going to have to go to the annexed park. That she, was over him. So did she suddenly have a change of heart when the property sold? Did Tim start calling and begging her to come back? Because we know he loves to beg. Saying he's changed, all this stuff, and he probably tells her, oh, I only film just, one time a day. But if Tim's only filming one time a day, and his reasoning is that, he films more because he needs more views, then he's not going to be making as much money off of his videos. Or, my thought all along was, if he would just upload every other day, he would still end up with almost the same amount of views. And people might not grow as tired of him and keep, maybe watch his ads. I love how people pull out in front of me. So I'm just throwing stuff out there. And now I'm going to say what I want to say. To Tammy. Tammy, you have to be the biggest fool. Or even, you have to be totally desperate. And I really liked you at the beginning. And I'm not saying I don't like you now. But I don't understand why you would even consider taking back this man who has talked about you terrible. And I don't care if it was because he was mad at the time. It was the fact that he said it in a YouTube video, and he talked about you like you were nothing, and that you meant nothing to him, and that he called you a ball and chain. And I'm like, if any man calls me a ball and chain, even in joking, we're going to have a serious conversation, because joking, as I've always said, is part of the truth. Anyway, Tammy, you got to really think about this. I know that there's plenty of eligible bachelors that is not like Tim. Now, I don't know what Tim brought to the relationship. I never saw anything that he brought to it. The only thing I saw he did was he drove the vehicle. And, okay, another thing he says is, are you going to, he said in one of his videos that when you're older, or when you're, retired and everything, you only need one vehicle. So, Tammy, I'd put this to Tim. Are you selling your truck, Tim? Because I'm not selling my car. That's the way I'd say it to him. Because a vehicle to me is independence. And it's a way for you to get away if you need to get away. And I'm not saying that he's abusive or anything like that. It's just sometimes you just got to get away. And you don't want to have to worry about a vehicle. You don't have to worry about trying to find a vehicle to drive, because you can't drive your husband's or live-in boyfriend, whatever, because he needs it. So keep your vehicle, Tammy. Don't ever sell your vehicle as long as you can drive. Now, there may come a time that he can't drive if you don't start taking care of his eyes better, because we can see he's not doing any better in that. And that's another thing why I think he might have been begging her, is because he knows that he might need someone to take care of him one day. Is that what you really want to be? Is just someone that he says, well, you can take care of me now? You know, to me, there has to be some give and take. And I just don't see what he's giving. What is he giving to you other than, I guess, a warm body? You know, somebody that can talk nice to you every now and then, but then later on he talks to you like a dog. If he don't get his way. So I'm saying it from the female perspective is, I think she's foolish to take him back. Now, if she wants to be friends with him, but not live with him, that's fine. You know, I mean, maybe they had some kind of deal. Maybe they had talked about this and like, oh, you go on your merry way, and when I get the money, then we'll get back together. But you can't, you know, if you can travel, but, you know, and maybe he's going to stay with her 6 months out of the year. I don't know. I just think it's ridiculous to take him back as a couple. But I don't see how you can go back to being and living together as just friends. I just don't see how that works, but maybe it does. Anyway, I just think she's foolish to consider it. You know, if he wants somebody that is like-minded like him, it's obvious that Tammy is not like-minded like him. They're two different people. He should be pursuing someone that wants to travel. I'm not saying he doesn't need to be pursuing somebody that is commenting on his videos. You know, I just think he'd be better off just meeting somebody, like I said, in a campground somewhere who's already camping and, you know, likes it. Because you don't know, those people in the comments, they may seem sincere, but then again, they may not. Now, I've noticed that the one we thought maybe could be the girl, I haven't seen her comment anymore. You know, tell me if I'm wrong that she's been commenting. I can't think of the name. Something about mama. But tell me, is she still commenting? Has she gone away all of a sudden? Has she decided, well, he's not interested in me? Maybe she was Tammy, actually. Fake. You know, I don't know. I just know I haven't seen any comments from her. So just let me know. I got to go to work, y'all. So thank you so much for listening to me go on about this today. You know, everybody has their own thing. And I know that Blind Views will be live tonight. And we'll talk about it more. You know, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Y'all have a great day. Love you. Bye.